So when you think of the brand MG, a few phrases probably come instantly to mind. Dreary, unreliable, and a little bit shit. But the latest line of cars is something different. These are the new kids on the block, and we're going to see if these cars are any good. So since MG Rover last shut its doors in 2005, two Chinese companies have come together to totally revitalise the MG brand. This is their latest line, the MG HS, and I think it's absolutely stunning to look at throughout, but we're going to see now whether it's any good to drive. You might remember the MG3 from about 10 years ago that was brought out. Very unreliable car that caused them a lot of problems, and I think it did tarnish the reputation. A lot of the cars that MG put out at the time weren't the best. But now we've got these Chinese companies that have come together, they've put a lot of funding into this project, and the latest batch of cars seem really exciting. This has been no exception. This has got aggressive styling, and the bodywork looks so good. For an MG, it looks absolutely unreal. Now this car is actually for sale from INS Car Centre, who have been gracious enough to lend me it for today. This is 15,995 with 7,000 mile on a 23 plate. That is a lot of car for your money. You're talking the equivalent Volkswagen Tiguan, which is the competitor to this car. We're well in the 20,000s easily. Now, is there a massive trade-off with them? Do you get, is it a really worse experience to have the MG over a Tiguan? I don't think it is, personally. There's everything in this that you'd need. It's got satellite navigation, full leather interior, big massive media screen, reversing camera. It's got loads. If you wanted to as well, you could get the trophy version of this car. This is the SE version. There's only two available on the market at the moment. The trophy version, you get a few little bit extras. You get half leather, half suede interior, which is heated as well. You get privacy glass and a super sport button, which sits on the lower right part of your steering wheel, which I think it makes it look a bit like a teenager's face. A lot of people talk about how the interior feels quite cheap and plasticky. I actually really like it. You get this lovely brushed alley center console, which goes up into sort of these fighter pilot style buttons for your climate and your heated windscreen and all. They're all really discreet and nice. This is finished off with a big old media screen at the top. That's nice and wide, but not overly wide. What I mean by that is you go in like something like a 5 Series, it literally takes up your entire view, in my opinion. It's really distracting. This is nice, and it's easy on the eyes as well. Bad point to talk about on this car. First of all, it's not 4-wheel drive, and there's no view to them ever making a 4-wheel drive version of this car, which I find quite disappointing on a car out in this era, to be honest with you. It's meant to be an SUV competitor. You'd want that to be an option. We've got to talk about the economy as well. For a 1.5 litre engine, I would be expecting more than 30 mpg. The government wants you to get into these petrol cars, and they're obviously heavily pushing them, but for me, this is still not returning enough.
All things considered, I think the MG HS is a decent SUV option. It's never going to be quite as refined as a Tiguan or a Q3, but for the massive price difference, it's definitely a car worth considering.